guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Frank and I have a very special video today, a very exciting video, something that I've personally been looking forward to for a very long time. This in front of me is the 2023 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Desert Boss Edition, and we're going to be going ahead and getting into a full review on this truck today. Let's go ahead, guys, and let's start off this review. Now, just before we start off getting into this video, I just want to quickly give a huge shout out to all of you out there that watch my videos. I'm actually almost at 1,300 subscribers, which is an incredible milestone for me. Again, I kind of do this just for fun and as a side hobby, and I really enjoy kind of bringing you guys videos, and I hope you guys enjoy them too. So thank you again to everyone that watches my videos and supports me. I really appreciate each and every one of you. Let's go ahead though, and let's start off on the front end of the Chevy ZR2. So starting off this review, we're gonna start under the hood of the new ZR2. So to take it back, I have a Chevy Colorado ZR2. I have a 2021. So underneath the hood of mine is a 3.6 liter V6 pushing out 308 horsepower with 275 pound-feet of torque. Now, Chevy has finally introduced a new motor into the Colorado and given it a little bit more power that it honestly deserves, having the ZR2 name. So there's a couple of different engines that you can get with the Colorados, but the ZR2 only comes with one, and that's going to be the high output motor. So that's going to be a 2.7 liter 4-cylinder turbo. And that's going to be making 310 horsepower with 430 pound-feet of torque. So as you can see, it's a significant boost from the previous generation 2022s and 2021s who had that 3.6 liter or a diesel, which is no longer an option in here. And they finally have at least what I think an actual appropriate torque number for the ZR2 name. And now with that 4-cylinder, you're going to be having a 0 to 60 time of about 7.3 seconds with this high output motor. It's roughly a second faster than the previous generation. So again, it's not a speed demon by any means. It's not one of those super trucks with, 700-800 horsepower, but it is definitely doable. And this is also mated to an 8-speed automatic transmission. Underneath the hood though, you can see it still has a very mechanical look and feel. Not too much is covered up by engine plastics and covers. At least everything seems relatively accessible from up here, which I do like. And of course, this is a new truck and it's a brand new engine and design for the Colorado and Chevy in general. So we will see with what issues this engine presents over the next year or so as owners start to, really drive them and break them in. So let's see how this engine holds up over the first year. Everyone knows that when a model has their first year and their first run, there tends to be issues that the manufacturer didn't quite work out yet, obviously because they aren't able to test the truck as an everyday consumer would. So let's go ahead now, let's close up the hood and let's start off with some of this exterior styling. We're gonna work our way from the front of the truck to the back, and then we're gonna hop inside and see what differences are inside of there. And just before actually I close this up, I do wanna note, on my ZR2, when you open the hood, it holds itself open, but as you can see, for some reason, you do still have a little stand right here, so this will not hold itself open. You are going to have to use this to prop the hood up if you're going to be doing anything underneath the hood. So let's go ahead now and let's close that up. All right, guys, so now with that closed up, you can see the new front end design on the ZR2. Again, this is the Desert Boss Edition. So the ZR2 is going to have a few differences, which I'll point out as we go throughout the truck compared to the Desert Boss Edition. So the price of this truck we're going to get right into is $62,000. This one has pretty much every single option you can want, and that Desert Boss package is going to add the highest amount of price to this truck. It's going to be a $10,000 option, which we'll get into what those differences are very shortly. So starting off on the front end of the truck, you can see this brand new design. We have the Chevy flow tie, which is their bow tie design as they call it, but it's opened up. We have a little red insert in here, and you can see that it is a flow tie because it's open and air can flow right through there. To the right, we have your ZR2 badging, and we have the brand new Chevy Colorado headlight design, which is pretty similar to the other model Chevy Colorados that are out there now on the market too for the 2023 model year. Now, one thing to note on the Desert Boss Edition is obviously this massive front push bar kind of look on here. This is just for the Desert Boss Edition, and these two front fog lights in there too, which are functioning, which we'll get into shortly as well. Other than that, the truck is relatively similar on the front end to a standard ZR2. as compared to the Desert Boss that we have right here. Now, coming down to the right side, you can see we have these cutouts, obviously, in the front bumper. Underneath here, we have your skid plate design as the other ZR2s have and as the previous ones have had. We have two red tow hooks on there, and then on the other side, it's the same thing with that same cutout. This gives you a much larger ground clearance if you're covering ground off-road and allows you to have a much better approach angle on the ZR2. Now, to the right of the truck, just above where this little cutout is for your better ground clearance, we have a vent design. It is not functional though. It is just there for looks and aesthetics, unfortunately, but it is still there nonetheless. Now, moving on from the front and the safari bar and everything like that, we're gonna go ahead and see the next major difference between the ZR2 and the ZR2 Desert Boss Edition. Obviously, we have these very large fender flares that are on here. That's standard, that comes with all the ZR2s, including this one. They have the hood up there, which again is standard with the ZR2, and we have the little stripe right there. I really like the stripe, and I like the contrast on here too. It has a pattern feel to it, and the sand dune metallic look, which is the color of my truck, going down right here too with the little stripe. I like it. I like the black color on here too with that, and I like the contrast between the sand dune metallic look and the black. So, next up, coming down right here to the wheels, and we'll get into the suspension just after that. These are the 17-inch B-Lock wheels that are just for the Desert Boss. These come with the package, and these are going to be 285s by 70s by 17. So pretty thick tires, almost full-size pickup truck tires, which is one major difference that the Desert Boss has compared to its younger brother or smaller brother, the ZR2. One thing to note is obviously these are going to be the same size on all four tires across the board. Now, just behind these front wheels, as you can see in there, not new to the ZR2, but we have that Multimatic DSSV dampening and suspension in there. This truck comes standard with a 3-inch lift across the board, has about 11 inches of ground clearance, and from this angle you can really see that increased approach angle. So Chevy says that this truck has an approach angle of about 38 degrees and about a departure angle of 25 degrees. Now, moving on to the side of the truck, I already did a video, as you guys may have seen, on a other model, Z71 for the 2023. So there's some similarities and obviously some major differences along the side of the truck. Doors are going to be pretty much the same across the board. We have your side mirrors on here. One thing to note is that this one obviously has a camera underneath there. This truck has a 360-degree camera. And now on the side is your major difference. We do have a rock rail on here. And now, for the first time ever from the dealer, you can get an option to actually have a side step on it to help you get inside. So my truck does not have that option on there. It only has the side rock rails, so you just kind of have to jump in. But finally, they now have the option, if you would like, to have a side step on there. I personally don't mind not having it. I don't think that I need it. I'm able to get in and out of my truck perfectly fine, but I'm sure if you're a little bit older or a little smaller, you probably have a little bit more difficulty getting in and out of the Colorado ZR2. Now, moving on back, you can see we have the Multimatic DSSV suspension in there as well. We have the same B-Lock tires, obviously, and we have your gas cap right in here. This truck has a gas mileage about similar on the city and highway. It's about 16 miles per gallon. Some will say you can get 19 on the highway, but between 16 and 19 is what you're going to be looking at overall as an average between the city and highway. Just above that now is your next major difference that you're going to get with the ZR2 Trail Boss. We have the sports bar on the back. We have the ZR2 name on here. Now, unlike what mine has and what other Colorados have had, is instead of this being cut into the metal like how these vents are, this is just a sticker that's on the outside that says ZR2. It's no longer going to be cut into the actual metal itself. Now, just above that, we have this massive top end light bar, and that's going to be 40 inches long. So now again, this all comes with that Desert Boss package. You guys are starting to see the options that this truck has compared to the ZR2 normal one, which is about $48,000, maybe going up to $52,000 depending on the options that you get. So you guys let me know in the comments below as I start, as I continue to list off options that this truck has, if you think that that $10,000 added price tag for this package is really worth it, or if you'd rather just do it yourself. Now, moving on to the rear end of the truck, we have your new rear end taillight designs. Nothing special here, similar to every other Colorado that's out there. To the left of that on the side, you can see we have your Desert Boss decal right on here. A little bit of the mountains, a little bit of the desert. Pretty cool little thing that it has on there. On the rear end, we now have a new tailgate on here. Obviously, we have the Chevrolet badge in here, and now surrounding that is this textured design again. So kind of looks really nice. It's the same thing as the sticker on the front of the truck, and obviously on this side, you're gonna have your Desert Boss sticker there too. Now to the bottom right of the truck, we have your ZR2 badge and your Colorado badge right there, finished in black. And we have the new rear bumper design with your tow hook, obviously, because you can tow with this truck. Also to note, on the bottom right of the side is where your single exhaust pipe is going to lead out. And you do have, again, an added option on here, which is this exhaust pipe cover. It has a little Chevy bow tie right on top. And now with this exhaust pipe too, you know what we have to do. And that's, of course, get a cold start clip of the ZR2 Colorado Desert Boss. So let's go ahead and let's give this a start and let's see what that 4-cylinder sounds like. This truck is obviously a mid-size pickup truck, so let's go ahead and let's open up the tailgate to here. This is a soft open tailgate similar to the previous generation ZR2s. This is the 5'3" bed, so one thing to note, they're not making any other types of sizes for this truck. So major things to note, obviously, is this has the spray-in bed liner on here. We have your ZR2 back there as well. Multiple tie-down ports on here as well. And as you can see right here, we have 120 volt plug-in right here, which is brand new to the Chevy Colorados. We also have a little bit of underlighting in here as well. As I mentioned in my previous video with the Z71 Colorado, this is relatively similar. You have, again, your little measuring stick built into the tailgate right here, and then you have these two little unlocks right here that you slide forward, and this will fold open, having this little storage space in here that you can put tools in, whatever you want. You can also, from what I've seen, put ice in here too, say if you're at the beach, and use it as a makeshift cooler. Put some drinks in here too. It does have a drain plug, so you're able to fill this up with water without having any issues. You can see it is insulated as well. We'll go ahead and close this up now. There's nothing really too special in the tailgate of this truck compared to, any other Colorado that's really out there. Just below that is where you're going to have your spare tire, as is with any other kind of pickup truck. So let's go ahead now and let's jump onto the interior of this truck and show you some of the main differences that are inside of there. All right, guys, so we're now inside of the new Colorado ZR2. So initial impressions getting in here, I think GM finally did a great job on the overhaul of the interior. I think that everything feels like it should for a truck that costs this much and looks like it's actually out of today's day and age, being 2023. I think that they finally are up to terms with everything, and I can't wait to show you guys some of the tech that this truck has, which I think is really cool. All right, guys, so in front of me is the 8-inch digital cluster screen, and to the right is the 11.3-inch infotainment screen. So Chevy, again, finally is with today's program. We actually have a screen in here. I know some people aren't that big of a fan of it, but for a price of $62,000, a truck like this, I think, deserves to have a little bit of technological advancements in it. So one thing to note is it's very colorful. It looks very good. I like the way that the RPM gauge is spread out across the top. I think it gives it a nice, pretty good sporty look for a truck like this. I like the overall design layout that they have in the truck. I think it's pretty easy to read. It's pretty simple in a sense for being on a screen, and it's not too cluttered. You kind of have everything that you basically need, and that's it. Now you can go ahead and click this button right here, which is going to show you a couple of different off-road features. So you're going to have your pitch and your roll to the left with the little 3D model. You're going to have a few more of your temperature gauges on here, and you can see to the right there, it tells you what mode you're in, and it has your steering angle. Now, one thing to note, as you can see on there, is we have two little locks on there, because yes, this truck is known for, with the ZR2 name, is having front and rear individual differential lockers. So again, obviously that is included on this truck. It's the main thing that makes a ZR2 a ZR2, and you're able to control those with these buttons right here. So as you can see, we have the rear and the front locker, and when we give that a click, you can see how the little lock logo appears on there. We click it again, and then it goes back off. Now again, you can see that steering angle too, so as we turn the steering wheel, you can see how we're all the way back now to 0. Nice little touch that Chevy added in here. Again, how much are you going to be using that off-road? Depends, I guess, on where you're driving off-road and what kind of a driver you are, whether you want to know that stuff or whether you don't really care. A couple other things as you're scrolling through here is you have a more simplistic layout on here. We also have this other layout on here too, which has a different layout, again, where your miles per hour are in the center, and we have a new RPM gauge that wraps around the speedometer and a couple of other little tidbits of information over there. So we also have a dual one right here, which is a more simplistic design, something that you're going to see typically on other cars, and something that you would see on the older generation. It looks more like a typical analog gauge where you have your miles per hour on the left, your gearing on the right, and you have your RPMs and your speedometer in their according places like that. This truck also comes with blind spot monitoring with the ZR2 convenience package. Those are all kind of little additions that are thrown into here. So you can also get that ZR2 convenience package with a normal ZR2 and not just the Desert Boss. So one thing now to note on the steering wheel is that it is brand new. It is finished in leather, it is heated, and all of your controls on here are brand new. They feel really nice and they look very nice and very clean. I don't think that it's too many buttons on here. I don't think that everything kind of is too much in your face. I like the look of it. I like the black Chevy bow tie in here. Now moving on to this 11.3-inch infotainment screen. It is very responsive and very easy, I think, to navigate. It is the same screen that you're going to get across the board in all of the Chevy Colorados, so that itself is not too special. The things to note on this truck compared to the other models is right up here. You have the little truck logo, and you have a few different things on here. You have your front fog lights right here, which you can give a click, and that's going to activate those two front fog lights that I showed you before on the Safari bar. All of your general controls are going to be throughout here, so in order to activate your traction control and everything like that, your hill descent mode, you're going to actually have to go into here. So that's a minus in my book because I like having a physical button out here, but as you can see, they simplified all of the buttons on here to make it a little bit of a cleaner look. So unfortunately, you're going to have to go through the screen in order to access all of those kind of relatively simple commands. This truck also has air down mode, so you can set your PSI to whatever you would like, click start, and then as you're airing down all of your tires, as you can see, it will honk at each time you hit the desired PSI pressure that you would like. Cool little thing that they added into here. Now, before I was talking about cameras with this truck, the Desert Boss comes with a ton of cameras. We have a 360-degree over camera. We have a camera in the center of that Safari bar. We have another camera on here over the rear of the truck, and as you can see on each one of these, you have a little two dots. So you have two. So you have the front 360, you have the rear 360 is a little bit zoomed in, you have the front and the sides of the truck. Now, one thing to note is when you click right here and you go ahead and check out these other buttons right here, we have a camera right here to show you top-down view, and the most important and I think the coolest looking one in my opinion is going to be this guy right here. So this camera right here is underneath the truck, and it shows you the obstacles that are coming up and what you're going over as well. So it shows you your ground clearance as you're going over, say, large rocks or something like that. You can at least view them. Again, is it very necessary? That's up to you as the consumer to deem, you know, whether it's necessary or not in a $10,000 option, but definitely cool nonetheless to have that in here. So let's go ahead and let's speed up a little bit more of this video and go over some basic features that are now included. We have heated and cooled seats. Finally, we do have cooled seats on here. All of your controls for your climate control are going to be on these. For your speed, you have dual zone, so at least it's not just one anymore. We have your climate control vents right here, which are this brand new design. Kind of looks similar to the older Camaros. I like the new design of them. We have that yellow stitching and leather running through here. And we do have this camouflage look right here with the ZR2 badge embroidered right on here for your passengers to look at so that they know they're inside of a ZR2. So coming down just below that, like I pointed out, you have your front and your rear lockers. You have auto start and stop in here. You have lane keep assist, and you have the button to roll down all four windows at the same time. You have a wireless phone charger here, which actually finally fits a larger iPhone. I have the iPhone 14 Pro Max, so as you can see, it actually fits in here just fine and actually charges even through the case. We do have two chargers right here, and we have your parking brake right here. You're able to change your four-wheel drive mode using this toggle right here, which is similar to the other Colorado that I had reviewed, the Z71. So not much of a change there, and not much of a change on the gear selector. We have park through low gear. It's pretty simple to use. Now, one thing to note also with this little selector switch right here is that as you turn it, it's going to give you the option to change your modes in here. So as you can see, we have off-road mode, tow haul mode, terrain, Baja, and then your normal mode. So Cool little touch that they added in terms of switching different modes. It's pretty simple and easy to use, and switch into different modes as you like. And I like the design on the truck and how it shows the Colorado on there and how the background and everything like that changes. I think it's a pretty cool look. In the center cup holders, we have that camouflage design again. We have 2 here and 2 in the rear, and this large leather armrest. You lift this up, you have a little cubby area right here, which is finally included, which was not included in the previous ones. And then as you can see, it's a lot deeper down there, again, with that kind of camouflage design down there too. I really like the design on the seats in here. I like the kind of two-tone color look. As you can see, we have the perforations in here for the cooled seats. We have this beautiful cushiony leather. We have black leather running throughout and that yellow stitching going all throughout here as well. I really like the design of the seats. You can also option this truck out to have yellow seat belts to match the yellow stitching if that's what you're into. Now, just above me is one very key feature that is now added to the new Colorados, and that is the option of having a sunroof. So for $1,000, you can add a sunroof into here, and all your controls are going to be right up here, which is pretty standard to any kind of a sunroof operation. So props to you, Chevy, for finally adding a sunroof. Let's go ahead though and let's check out the back seats. So one thing to note on the rear end of the ZR2 is that you don't have a step bar to get up here. The rear passengers, unfortunately, are still gonna have to hop up here and try their best to get up here. So coming up here, you can see we have the same style leather design and stitching running throughout here. Hopping into the actual rear seats, not too bad on the leg room. I have a little bit of room right here. I have enough, I think, where the front passenger has plenty of room. For the rear passengers, you're going to get another outlet right here. We also have 2 more charging ports back here, and then you have 2 center air conditioning control vents right here. And then again, you have the 2 cup holders, which you can also access as well. The rear seats are gonna have the little storage cubby areas back here. And on the center area in here, you could fold this down, revealing 2 more cup holders. All right, guys, and that's going to wrap up today's video on the 2023 Chevy Colorado ZR2 Desert Boss Edition. I really hope you enjoyed this video, and I really hope that you guys enjoy these types of videos. I love putting them out for you guys and making you guys this kind of fun content. If you like this truck and you want to check it out for yourself, I'm going to link the direct listing to this in the link below. Thank you again to Millennium Chevy for letting me use this truck. And if you want to check out any other cool cars that they have, be sure to check them out as well. I think this definitely is going to be a very strong contender for the next truck for me. Again, the only thing that kind of scares me is the price tag, because it is a mid-size pickup truck at the end of the day. But I can kind of see why the price is the way it is, because this truck definitely comes with a lot, and I don't think you'll need to ever add anything else to it. You can kind of buy it right out of the box with every option that you would possibly need or want on an off-road vehicle. So with that being said, I'm going to wrap up this video here. Thanks guys again. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so that you know when I post next. And I look forward to seeing you guys all in the next one. Take care.